Our first bout of the evening is scheduled for 4 rounds in the welterweight division. And this bout is brought to you proudly by the Louisville Tribal Recreation Department and Chief Peter Bull Memorial Center. Your referee for this bout is Hubert Earl. Your judges at ringside are Les Willix, Don Superstein, and Lloyd Sutton. Introducing first of all, in the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with the white trim, weighed in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Dawson Creek, British Columbia, with a professional record of 3 wins and 6 defeats. Please welcome back to Edmonton, Tracy Anderson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he's wearing the blue trunks with the gold trim, weighed in at 144.5 pounds, from Grand Prairie, making his professional debut tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Schaefer.
Okay, first, when you go back to the corner, I want you to wipe his gloves off. Don't touch the counters when you come in the ring. Okay, gentlemen, any questions on the rules? Last chance on them. Okay, I want a good, clean fight. I want you to shake hands. Bell rings, come out fighting. Good luck.
Well, how nervous do you think Chris Schaefer is? It's his pro debut.
Oh, Chris Schaefer obviously is going to be, he's got a lot of amateur experience, so clearly it shouldn't affect him all that much, although clearly in his first professional fight, this is a lot different than the amateurs. I'm sure there's a few butterflies going through his stomach.
What do you think, Kenny?
Well, I think Chris has got to use his arm reach on him, check him out. Tracy throws a lot of real hard punches. Just about everything's got everything on him. So he's got to check this guy out. Exactly what he's doing right now, Brian.
Of course, what we see here, Tracy Anderson, you know, he fights very different style, right?
Yeah, it makes for a great style here because Tracy Anderson, as I say, I mean, they must make him tough up there in Dawson Creek because this guy is real dog tough. And he's going to test Schaefer, and this is a great first pro fight for a guy like Schaefer because his heart's going to be tested tonight.
All right, Anderson's 5'8", Schaefer's 6'2". How much of an advantage is the height, Kenny?
Well, I know Chris Schaefer has him on reach a lot. The one thing about it, they're both southpaws, and no advantage for either one. The reach is a big thing here, though. Chris seems to be getting off first and using that jab of his.
Anderson's peekaboo style, isn't he?
Yeah, he kind of waits for things to happen, but you can't be waiting too long. You got to make things happen. If you're a shorter Tracy Anderson, you got to start getting in on this guy and not letting Schaefer get off so quick.
Yeah, clearly what Schaefer's got to do, or pardon me, what Anderson's got to do is crowd him, doing exactly what he's doing right now. Rough him up a little bit and get this fight going on the inside.
But you see, every time Anderson tries to move in, we just saw it a moment ago, you know, Schaefer pops him with the long lead, and, you know, that's where I think he's got the advantage with that long reach.
No question about that. And if you know how to use the reach, it's a great thing. But the way to, of course, combat that is to get on the inside. But what Anderson isn't doing is he's not jabbing his way in, Ken.
Chris has to be careful, though, because Anderson throws everything on every punch, and what Chris is doing right now is what he doesn't want to do. He should move around and test this guy with his jab. He doesn't have to fight him. Fight when it's to Chris's advantage. Tracy's got to try and make him fight as much as he can.
Except Anderson, I can already see that, Kenny, is a lunger.
Well, Anderson is by definition, a classic catcher in the business. He doesn't mind taking one shot to give another. He's just a real tough journeyman-style fighter.
Yeah, but you see how he lunges out, though, at Schaefer, trying to get in there?
He likes to throw, like I said, everything like on every punch. Chris has got to be on his toes, bothering him with the jab, and then I think he can get some results.
Yeah, but you see, Schaefer is bothering him with the jab because Anderson's nose is bleeding.
Yeah, Chris is doing a good job so far. Chris has just got to start putting some left hands behind that jab and coming back with that right hook.
I think Schaefer is a little deceiving, at least as far as I'm concerned, because he's so rangy. He looks like he doesn't have any power. He looks kind of like a string bean in there to me. But obviously he can hit. He must have something.
Oh, he can
going,
bang.
yeah.
He seems to have nice leverage, and his timing is very good, which I'm kind of surprised at. I would have suspected that Schaefer would be a little nervous that first round, but he looked pretty seasoned out there, Ken.
Well, he's had, like I said, 85 amateur fights. Seems to be helping him. He's handling it, like Ray said, real well.
Well, I'd give that first round to Schaefer if I was marking it. How do you score it?
I see it the same way. I see that Schaefer clearly getting his jab in there and doing more damage.
Okay, that's how you see it, Kenny Ray. It's a Schaefer round, isn't it?
No question about that. Anderson, what he's got to do is hit on the inside, but he's got to do that by jabbing his way in, as opposed to just throwing these home run balls.
You know what I'd do if I was Schaefer? I'd start quickening the pace.
You're leading with right hooks.
You know, I'd try
Well,
to...
it's a 4-round fight, and these guys are going to have a pretty good pace as it is.
Go seconds.
Well, they're in the corner there, you know, telling Anderson, maybe you better step it up here.
Clean everything off the apron, will you, please? Break!
Yeah, Hubert Earl is a wonderful referee. In fact, he's a veteran. He's been around a long, long time as the senior referee in professional boxing in Canada, certainly. And actually, just recently, he was in Germany, where he refereed a world championship fight, and it ended in a riot, not because of his fight, but the Schultz-Botha fight.
Charlie Anderson better be moving a little more, Kenny, or he's going to get popped several times by Schaefer, because Schaefer's really jabbing now.
Schaefer's doing exactly what he's got to be doing to win. This guy's going to try and frustrate him. Anderson's going to come in, hit him late. He's going to do everything he can to try and slow this guy down.
That was a good right hand by Anderson.
Yeah, but they're one at a time, and Anderson has got to start roughing this guy up, because if this Schaefer gets into a rhythm, which it looks like he's in right now, it's going to be a pretty long night for Mr. Anderson.
See, Anderson looks a little clumsy to me, Kenny. He's lunging in there, and he's losing his balance when Schaefer backs away.
What he's trying to do is make things happen, and he should be a little bit more clumsy and beyond this guy a little bit more. Chris has got to keep using the ring, and Chris got to keep his jab in Tracy's face. That's the only shot that Chris has right now, because he's doing a real good job with it. He's hitting the body and moving around, moving with his legs.
Maybe some influence there, the training of Eddie Futch?
Well, there's no question this kid's been well trained. He's learned a lot in the amateurs, and certainly a guy like Eddie Futch is only going to increase his skills. But what I'm most impressed with Schaefer, despite the fact that, of course, he's got the edge in reach, is that he actually knows how to use it. He's going nice to the body, as Kenny said, and he's very cool in there, Ken.
He's staying nice and relaxed, and I just think he's got to keep moving, and he's starting to get his left cross in. Other things are going to start to happen if you keep using your jab, and he's starting to get successful for using his jab.
Schaefer's nose bleeding a little now.
Well, Schaefer's getting a little bit, you know, the odd shot. Schaefer's starting to get a little too aggressive for my liking, but I mean, I think he should use the ring a bit more, but he's having success, so he's getting brave.
Come on, guys, let's get to boxing.
Yeah, maybe this is what a guy shouldn't do, especially a kid like Chris Schaefer, who's having his pro debut here tonight. Shouldn't, you know, get too eager. Should, you know, be patient, because otherwise, against a guy like Anderson, bang, it could be over quickly.
Yeah, it comes with experience, and of course, Anderson is the type of guy. Anderson was lulling him there. Anderson wasn't as hurt as he appeared, but Anderson wants this to be a fight now, and it's the only way he's going to win this fight.
Oh, a good right hand. You see that by Schaefer?
Chris is starting to use the ring real well, and his foot movement is much superior to Tracy Anderson's, and he's got to keep doing that. He cannot try to fight Tracy. He's got to box him.
A bloody nose isn't going to bother Schaefer much, is it?
No, not at all.
Right! Let go!
Uh-oh. Little hold in there.
Finish.
Natural ability can only take you so far. Equipment counts for a lot. I'm always checking out new ideas. You have to stay competitive. That's what I like about Pert Plus. Cleans and conditions in one step. No messing with 2 bottles. I get great results. No hassle, no fuss. Eventually, we all cross the finish. The winners just find a better way to get there.
Pert Plus, great hair, no fuss.
Have you only been dreaming of color? The Canon BJC 210 series color printers will turn your dreams into reality. Now you can print on anything, from plain paper to iron-on transfers in bright, true-to-life colors. Imagine the excitement of being able to wear what you print. The Canon BJC 210 series. Do you dream in color?
Let me give you Frank's #1 rule. Never argue with a guy holding a meat cleaver. You don't have to believe me, but I say no other brand of sandwich meat tastes as good as Maple Leaf flakes of ham. I say Maple Leaf trim their meat as carefully as I do. 100% cured ham. I say you can trust the taste of Maple Leaf. I say Maple Leaf is a cut above. You can argue with me, but I don't think you should.
According to Frank, Maple Leaf is a cut above.
We're coming up to round 3 right now. There you are. They've got Schaefer ahead by 2 points right now, given the first 2 rounds scorecard. Here we go, round 3.
Schaefer
This is a 4-rounder, welterweight, 147 pounds. Chris Schaefer out of Grand Prairie. Tracy Anderson out of Dawson Creek, BC. Pro debut for Chris Schaefer. 79 wins, 6 losses as an amateur. Looking pretty good.
Schaefer's really using his jab well now. He's really starting.
You can't hear, can you?
There could be a Hubert Earl may beginning to start taking points away from Anderson because
But wait a
he's really
minute.
starting to
That's
get,
the third time. That's the third time Anderson's been warned by referee Hubert Earl.
Yeah, but all 3 different infractions. Anderson's starting to get hurt to the body now. Schaefer's really starting to take him apart.
Anderson's finding out the referee is going to let him get away with it, which a lot of these Canadian officials do. He's just going to do what he wants in there. And I mean, this referee's got to take charge of this match.
Come on, work out of it. Work out of it. Your hands are free.
You get a 4-rounder.
Come on, work out of
the
it.
first 3 rounds, we've got 3 infractions from 1 fighter. I mean, you got to get a hold now. The 4th one.
This
1 point.
Yeah, that's
1 point.
It's about time. I mean, you can't be doing that in the 4-rounder.
Whoa! Schaefer says, don't come up and touch gloves with me, and popped him one.
Well, listen, Schaefer's
Schaefer's really moving well now. He's starting to unload when he wants to.
Now there's Anderson. Ray, he clearly hit him on the break.
Yes, and Hubert Earl said next foul, you're disqualified. So he's been warned, and that's it.
You know, Anderson looks tired, looks worn right now.
Yeah, he's a beaten fighter at this point.
Schaefer knows it. Schaefer would like to finish him.
Well, we'll see what kind of a closer Schaefer is now, too.
If Schaefer ever should box, it should be now. He's almost got this guy right now. He doesn't have to walk into no punches now. He's doing real good. The other guy's ready to go. All he got to do is box him a little bit more.
Just get him with the right punch and he's finished.
Schaefer is really doing a good job as it is right now, but he's being too aggressive. He could get caught with something.
Come on, work out of it. Work out of it.
This is round 3 of a scheduled 4-rounder. Welterweights, 147 pounds. Oh. There you see it, about 30 seconds left in round 3.
Quite frankly, I think that Tracy Anderson is looking for a way out right now, Ken, and through disqualification, it may save him from a knockout. That's what it really appears like.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. It actually looks like he's trying to get disqualified. Chris has got to get on his toes and start boxing now. This guy's almost out there. A couple good crosses and the fight's over. But don't exchange it.
Well, we're coming to the end of round 3 now, so looks like we're going to go to the 4th unless Anderson is disqualified.
Well, quite frankly, it's getting to the point now where Anderson's corner should begin to really think about pulling him out of here because he's going to get hurt, Ken. And there's no sense continuing this.
Well, I think that Schaefer is doing a real good job for his first fight. I think the fight should have been over already. It's 3 infractions. Hubert Earl's got to take control of this fight a little bit better than he has. I think that Chris Schaefer, for a debut, is really doing a good job.
Schaefer looks pretty, you know, sure, and he looks very calm. Yeah, looks in very good shape.
That's what's impressed me most of all is the relaxed and the coolness of Schaefer tonight. He really looks like a guy with more than one or a pro debut, that's for sure.
Well, certainly his 85 amateur fights are showing here tonight. He's nice and relaxed.
This is the 4th and final round now, fellas, here in the 147-pound welterweight division.
And, of course, that round would have been a 10-8 round for Schaefer because of that deduction. So he's hopelessly, Anderson that is hopelessly behind.
Well, Anderson looks very clumsy now, Ray. I mean, he's got the elbows out, and he's just trying to ward off the punches of Schaefer. Schaefer doesn't have much power in those punches either, Ken.
He's looking to hit Schaefer with a real big punch, and those don't come too often. I think Chris is really doing a nice boxing job. He shouldn't mix it up too much.
I wonder if Chris Schaefer's feeling pretty good about his debut as a pro. I mean, a guy would be pretty nervous, as you stated at the outset, Ray. And
he's got to feel real good about tonight, Brian. I mean, he's had things primarily all his own way. He's whacking Anderson all around the ring from pillar to post, and he's so far in front, it's ridiculous.
Except that he doesn't have a lot of sting in the punches, I may again say, because you can see it here. Yeah, I think he knows he has the fight won. And at this point, he's just saying, you know, let's get it over with. This is 4 rounds for me. I bet if we talked to him afterward, he would say, I'm maybe a little bit tired. This has been kind of an exciting night for me.
Well, he's gone away from his boxing now, and he wants to go and do some toe-to-toe punching with Tracy Anderson. I think he should just keep boxing. He could walk into punches that way.
Well, if he's going to do it, he's doing it at an ideal time, because Anderson is almost out of his feet from pure exhaustion, if nothing else.
Well, there's not long to go in this fight, and I don't think there's any doubt but Chris Schaefer out of Grand Prairie, who, by the way, Kenny, Grand Prairie, that's Willie DeWitt's hometown. You and Willie had some great battles here in Edmonton when Willie was fighting in the heavyweight championship and the rest of it.
Well, we certainly did, and I'll tell you, Grand Prairie has produced another guy, Darren Zenner, a rated middleweight in the world, and hopefully this boy's following in the same footsteps.
Well, he's working not only here in Alberta, but in Nevada with Eddie Futch, and Hedgeman Lewis is involved too, I think, right?
Terrific ex-professional fighter, world ranked, and he apparently would be sort of the heir apparent to Eddie Futch to take over Eddie's fighters, and just wonderful training.
Pretty tired guys.
Yeah, particularly so Anderson, since he's been the recipient of almost every punch in the book.
I keep thinking now when I look at them that, you know, if I have to throw one more, I'll fall down.
Well, I think they're just about there. I'm sure Schaefer will be pleased when this fight is over, and Anderson will be more than happy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing we must give Chris for his first fight, he's a good, well-conditioned young man, no doubt about it, and I think he's on his way to his first victory, no doubt.
Well, we're going to be going up to James Monsees. We'll get the decision from the ring announcer, the judges here at the Convention Center in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Watching on Viewer's Choice tonight here across the country. And a very good fight with Chris Schaefer and Tracy Anderson, but two very tired pugilists, but a very, very good card so far. And we're waiting for Scotty Olsen and Jesus Zuniga out of Colombia in what should be a real battle. And I don't mind telling you, I'm not quite sure who's going to win that one. I know who wins this one between Schaefer and Anderson, but I don't know about the one coming up.
Well, you just never know. Jesus Zuniga, as we said before, is a very courageous type of fighter. And unlike a lot of guys who will, obviously, when hurt, they'll try to hold on or perhaps get away from the action until they compose themselves. A guy like Zuniga will start trading. So you've got that macho, big courage and a big heart, and that might be his downfall tonight, Ken.
Well, you don't want to exchange with a puncher like Scott Olsen, but hey, like I said earlier, this young Zuniga likes to go in. He went after Chiquita Gonzalez, and not too many people go after Chiquita Gonzalez. So obviously he's a courageous man. He knows what he's doing when he is the aggressor, and I believe that he's tailor-made for Scott Olsen if he comes straight in, because the southpaw catches right hand.
This is going to be a very noisy place when Scotty appears. Of that there is little doubt, with the hometown crowd and a very good crowd here at the Convention Center in Edmonton. And tonight, I think probably, and rightly so, despite all of his many fights and his many years of experience in different situations, I kind of have the feeling that Scotty Olson's just a little bit nervous about this one.
Well, he wants to win real big time tonight,
Yes,
Brian.
he
There's no
does.
question about that. And he wants to put, he's been inactive for almost a year now, 10 months. And it's really time that he scores a sensational knockout in front of his hometown fans to tell everybody, hey, I am back. I never was away, for that matter. And my right hand is absolutely fine. Now bring on the world's best, Ken.
Well, I have to agree with what Brian said. I think that Scott Olson gets more nervous as every fight comes. I remember when I was in the Netherlands and I was in Copenhagen and I was fighting the main event there, and I asked Joe Bugner before he fought, I said, Joe, you've had 70 pro fights. Are you nervous? And Joe Bugner looked at me and he said, I'm more nervous for this one than I was my first one. So as the fights go, I'm sure Scott Olson is even more nervous than he was in his first couple fights.
All right, there's the young man, Chris Schaefer.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Tracy Anderson?
There you are.
Well, they gave Tracy Anderson a big applause there, too. He's a brave guy, but almost too brave for his own good.
All right.